Hello, YouTube. What is going on? It's your boy GZTV back with it, and we have the halfway point to Dexter season 8, the 6th episode. A little reflection. This episode was really interesting. I'm gonna be honest. Some of the parts didn't. The ending, especially, made no sense at all, which is kind of funny actually. Like I watched it, the ending happened, like they were getting weak and passing. I was like, what the fuck? Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. But let's talk about the episode, just quickly summarize. I'm not really high on the ending. The rest of the episode's pretty cool, the whole Zach Hamilton thing. So Zach Hamilton is at the scene of a car accident, kind of taking pictures. And Dexter sees an obsession in this kid. Dexter follows Zach to Dr. Vogel's home and wonders if she has taken him on as a patient. I mean, this kid obviously has problems. He has, daddy issues. His dad's going off, fucking every girl he sees, all this sort of thing. Dexter discloses to Vogel that Zach likely murdered Norma Rivera, and he's going to kill him if he finds solid proof. And Vogel's like, no, maybe we could use this same thing that we did on you. And Dexter's like, I am no fucking science experiment. I'm no project of yours. Masuka reviews Deborah's background report on his daughter, Nikki. She is pretty down financially, and he's kind of convinced she's after his money. He likes Nikki, though, and he wants to provide for her. Elway brings a new case to Deborah. It's like a kind of a setup for Susan's boyfriend, Kevin Wyman. He's a notorious player who frequents a singles bar in a hotel. And, yeah, she's supposed to go there, kind of lure him in and prove that he is a cheater, because obviously he doesn't. Yeah, Elway and his sister. Elway and his sister, Yeah, but it's not his wife, it's his sister. I don't know why I said wife. I don't know if I even said wife, but yeah, he wants to make sure his sister's in good hands. And he has those props as a job. Dexter helps Harrison with the puzzle as Jamie deals with the laundry. She has a picnic for her birthday in a few days, and Cassie will be there, and she keeps fucking setting shit up with Dexter. And I mean, Dexter's kind of having it. He's open to it, but yeah, he knows it's probably not going to end well because she seems like a normal person. Dexter's called to a bloody murder scene in Liberty City where a woman was stabbed to death by her boyfriend. Zach is there, interested, and it's really fucking weird. I'm telling you, it's a really weird thing. And Dexter lets him go and look at the scene because he realizes this kid has some sort of fascination with it. So all that happens, yada, yada, yada. Dexter and Cassie, and he gets pictures, all that. Dexter and Cassie meet for a food truck lunch, and she asks what he's passionate about. And really, Dexter doesn't live a normal life. Obviously, he's passionate about fucking murdering people, but he can't tell her that. So he doesn't really have passions. He brings his boat out on the water. He goes bowling every now and then. He hangs out with the sun. He tries to paint himself as a normal person, but obviously his passion is, catching criminals and killing them. That's what it is. As Elway and Deborah are watching Kevin Wyman at a singles bar, he talks about his strained relationship with his sister. Obviously he's not on the best terms with his sister Susan, but he wants her to have a good future. After Wyman has no luck picking up a woman, he leaves, and Deborah's like, we're going to set him up. I'm going to go on his bait. I worked at Vice. I know exactly what the hell I'm doing. So they decide on it. Yeah. So Zach invites Dexter to his studio, and he arrives with a bag of Sadie's donuts. And if Dexter gives you a bag or a donut from Sadie's, it's a genuine connection. He genuinely wants to get to know this kid a little bit, and he wants this kid to give him a reason to not put him on the table, because if he's interested in the shit Dexter's interested in, then yeah. And Dexter spots a photo of a woman on a desk, and Zach gets nervous when asked about it. Obviously, something's fucking up about it, and yeah. So Zach receives a phone call, which seems to upset him. You kind of get the notion that it's his father. So at the station, Deputy Chief Matthews asks Angel about his choice for sergeant. He still hasn't chosen yet. That's an ongoing thing for the season, and it's gonna wrap up this episode. And yeah, obviously Matthews is on Angie Miller's side. And Batista is with his boy, Joseph Quinn, who's been on the division longer, probably. And yeah. So Dexter and Deborah have steak and beers together like old times, but they struggle to find their old comfort level. Now that, Deborah kind of knows about Dexter's big secret, it's very awkward now. But, at least they can kind of share this moment in some slight bit. Jamie has found the missing remote under Harrison's bed, and Dexter wonders if he should be concerned that Harrison is lying, and Deb kind of tells him, like, he's only 4. Like, don't worry about him. He's really early in his life. He's obviously going to do some mischievous things, but if he doesn't mature by a certain age, obviously you got to intervene. So neither are enjoying the tough steak, and Dexter says it's not worth living for, something Deb once said about his steaks, and they decide to get a pizza, and yeah. So Angel brings Quinn into his office and says he's promoting Miller to sergeant, calling her the most qualified candidate, and after all this, after taking the sergeant exam, getting dragged in by Batista, that's a really shitty move by Angel. And he kind of set himself up for it because he pretty much knew that Miller was another candidate, and he still put Quinn through hell to get him to this situation, or to this place, and for him to not get it. It's kind of fucking awful, really. So yeah, Quinn is determined to solve the Norma Rivera case. Like, he's trying to, and obviously Quinn has had a lot of mishaps in the division, and Batista brings that up, but Quinn wants to prove him wrong. He wants to prove he's the right candidate. So there's this interesting storyline where he kind of gets into it with the Zach thing and the Norma Rivera and all this stuff. And Dexter and him are going to go tail and blah, blah, blah. On stakeout in a car, Dexter and Quinn watch Zach taking photos of an outdoor yoga class. They obviously go together because Dexter kind of wants to help Quinn make advances, but at the same time, it is kind of Dexter's own thing. So all that blah, 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 and yeah, they kind of talk about Deborah, and Dexter's like, why the fuck did I come, Dexter suddenly notices that one of the women in the class is the same woman in the picture that Zach didn't want him to seek, so he's pretty much already ahead of Quinn, until later, which Quinn surprisingly figures out that Zach has something to do with this. Obviously, he was at the beach, or at the place, like, yeah, he's had his suspicions that Zach Hamilton did this, but yeah. Deb meets Elway at the Singles Hotel wearing a tight short skirt and low-cut top. Obviously they get her all wired up. Elway's kind of blushing. I don't know, it's a really weird moment. As Elway sits nearby holding the recorder, Deborah strikes up a conversation with Wyman at the bar. And eventually they're walking to the elevator. Deborah kind of convinces him to take her home with him. He starts kind of touching on her, and Elway gets fucking offended by this. Sick little shit. And fucking strikes him one. So, yeah. By using her license plate, Dexter finds out that the woman Zach is following is Sofia Fuentes, an employee of the Cypress Harbor Yacht Club owned by Zach's family, so it seems about right. It seems like this girl is very accessible to Zach, so he's going to need to do some tailing. Obviously he doesn't want Quinn doing this, so yeah. So he finds proof that, what's his name? Zach is the murderer of Norma Rivera by going through his little photo studio, and yeah. Dexter brings Vogel the evidence of Zach's guilt, but she already knew because Zach told her during their first session, and this whole time she could have told Dexter, he's done favors for her in the past, and it's not like her turning him into a killer alongside Harry, really he did him a favor, so yeah. To Dexter's surprise, Vogel suggests teaching the code to Zach because she sees something in him. She sees how he can kind of channel it and control it, sort of like Dexter can. And he's not a fucking experiment. That same thing. So Dexter attends Jamie's birthday party at Papa's Cafe, and Harrison plays with the other kids. Cassie's with another guy. Jamie tells Dexter he needs to move fast, you're the one pointing him in that direction. Why are you telling him to move fast? You're the one that tried to set him up. It's kind of weird. Also, there are Masuka and his daughter Nikki. They kind of have a liking to each other. She doesn't want to call him dad. He hands her a check of $5,000. She can use it. He tells her he did research about her, and he realizes that she's kind of in a financial hole. She's offended, and it's kind of weird, and she returns the check, walks away, and that's probably about the ending of that storyline. Jamie starts to publicly congratulate Quinn on his promotion to sergeant before he and Angel break the news that it went to Miller. And she's fucking pissed about this. This pretty much ruins her whole birthday dinner. Yeah, nice going, Batista. You hyped it up, you talked around the dinner table about it, and now Quinn is not the sergeant. You really put yourself in a fucking shitty place, Sergeant Batista. Dexter notices Cassie standing alone and walks over to her. They chat awkwardly. Her date returns. Oliver is the man. They shake hands. Dexter goes to find his son because he realizes Cassie isn't the girl for him, pretty much. Elway tells Deb that Wyman broke up with his sister, which is what he wanted, obviously, because he's a pretty shitty person, really, like cheating on her and stuff. And Susan was like pretty down about it, and now he feels bad, but like he did the right thing, I think. At bedtime, Dexter talks to Harrison about the fact he lied about the remote. They're sitting there kind of having like this father-son conversation. And Harrison's fucking smart. He says, you've lied about a lot of shit too. My teddy bear, all this, or my dog, all this sort of thing. So Zach's porch is parked at his studio, but he's not there. And Dexter breaks in. He finds this receipt of him buying a car. Good going, Zach. Now Dexter knows exactly where you are. And yeah, he doesn't want his bright red card seen when he kills Sophia. And yeah. So as Dexter drives through the club's parking lot, he notices Zach in his car waiting to make his move on Sophia. Quinn is there, watching Zach from the restaurant by the club. And he gets rid of Quinn by calling Jamie, saying that, Quinn's really down about himself, telling the whole department about it. She needs to show up and kind of lead him away because, yeah. Or she needs to invite him over to his house, like he gives her the permission. At this point, Zach's father appears, Zach, and begins kissing Sophia. So this is another girl that Zach's father has an affair with, and that's like his motive behind killing her. Ed's new mistress, and that's kind of like the pattern. Zach begins to follow his father, about to kill him, and Dexter hits him with the M99. While dragging Zach, Dexter stops and leans against a building. Quinn pulls up in his car. He can't see Zach. He's like, Dexter, you playing detective? And obviously he went on the stakeout with him, so this kind of works out for Dexter. He's like, yeah, make sure he doesn't get away. Yeah. And Quinn leaves to see Jamie. Dexter sets up a kill room in Zach's studio because he wants to hit home here with this kill. So Zach wakes up. Why is he going to kill his father? Zach's like, what the hell are you talking about? Dexter threatens him. That whole thing happens, and he reveals the truth, protect his mother. Yeah. So Dexter's dubious that it is just about Zach's mother and asks why she shows up at crime scenes and takes pictures of blood. Zach can't help it. He likes to kill. He has the same interests of Dexter. He's damn near a mirror image of this guy. So Zach advises Dexter to kill him because he won't be able to stop himself from killing again. He needs to put him out of his fucking misery because he has an addiction. But, Dexter's lived his whole life, and he's thinking about that as a killer, and he's like, I'm fucking doing fine. Obviously, I've almost gotten caught a couple times, but I'm a fucking vigilante. Yeah. Zach never had a Harry to talk to. He cuts Zach loose. I don't know what the hell Zach's going to say about it. Maybe they come to an understanding. I don't know. So at Deb's beach house, she and Dexter are enjoying beverages and snacks. They're kind of reconciling with each other. They're liking each other again as siblings and stuff like that. So Deb begins to slur her speech, says she feels dizzy, and passes out on the couch. Something is wrong with Dexter as well, and he collapses. Before he blacks out, he sees Hannah at the door. She looks directly at him and says, hello, Dexter. Remember me? This makes no sense. Why the hell is Hannah McKay? I don't like this, really. I don't like Hannah McKay returning back to the series. Yeah, there's a lot of dynamics that could, potentially make the season good and all that, but, oh my god, that's a really stupid thing to do for this show. He already has the storyline with Cassie, which isn't completely out of the window. I don't know. There's always a love story. They always got to bring people back. So maybe Lumen comes back. That'd